Your brain is screaming right now. Not out loud, just that low hum of noise that never stops. The kind that makes scrolling feel better than living, where even things you used to love feel like cardboard. You check your phone for the 10th time in 5 minutes and still feel empty. Here's what nobody tells you. Your dopamine system isn't broken. It's hijacked. And in the next 14 minutes, I'm going to show you 10 instant resets that flip it back on in 10 seconds or less. No meditation apps, no 30-day challenges, just neurochemical switches you can flip right now. But listen closely. When we hit reset number 3, do not zone out. That one is the biological cheat code your brain has been hiding from you your entire life. Miss it and you'll stay stuck in the dopamine desert while everyone else finds the oasis. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat there doing absolutely nothing and your brain still feels like it's running a marathon? Like there's this static between your ears that won't shut off? Meanwhile, your motivation is flatlining. You can't focus. Nothing feels rewarding. You're not depressed exactly. You're just numb, that running on fumes. That's dopamine depletion. And here's the kicker. Your brain wasn't designed for this world. It was built for hunting, gathering, and maybe staring at a fire. Not 4,000 notifications, infinite scroll, and constant comparison to people's highlight reels. Your dopamine receptors are fried like an overworked circuit board. But the good news? You can reset them faster than you think. Reset number 10, the cold face shock. Right now, your prefrontal cortex, the smart part of your brain that makes decisions and controls impulses, is probably running on minimum power. When dopamine drops, that area goes offline first. You become reactive instead of intentional, scrolling instead of working, snacking instead of eating real food, watching instead of creating. Here's the fastest way to wake it back up. Cold water on your face, not a gentle splash. A real shock. Go to your sink right now, cup your hands, fill them with the coldest water you can get, and press that ice-cold water directly onto your face for 10 seconds. Hold it there. Let it sting. Here's what's happening. Cold water triggers something called the mammalian dive reflex. Your body thinks you just plunged into freezing water and it needs to survive. Your heart rate drops, your vagus nerve fires, and your brain instantly shifts from autopilot panic mode into focused survival mode. Blood rushes to your core, oxygen floods your brain, and suddenly your prefrontal cortex comes back online like someone just flipped the breaker switch. This works in under 10 seconds. The moment that cold hits your face, your nervous system resets. You stop spiraling, you stop scrolling, you feel awake, sharp, present. It's not motivation. It's activation. And activation always comes before motivation. Think about it. When's the last time you felt truly awake after scrolling for an hour? You don't. You feel drained, foggy, zombie mode. But 10 seconds of cold water and your brain snaps back into the room. This is your emergency reset. Use it when you can't think straight, when you're about to dive into another hour of wasted time, when your brain feels like it's buffering and nothing loads. The cold face shock is your hard reboot. Reset number 9, the tension release breath. Most people breathe wrong their entire lives. Shallow, fast, chest only, like a scared animal. And when you breathe like that, your brain thinks you're in danger. It keeps you stuck in fight or flight mode. Dopamine can't flow properly when your nervous system thinks a lion is chasing you. So here's the 10-second fix. Exhale first. Don't inhale. Most breathing advice tells you to take a deep breath. Wrong. Your lungs are already full of stale air and stress. You need to empty them first. Right now, let everything out through your mouth. Push it all out. Make a sound if you want. Squeeze out every last bit of air like you're wringing out a wet towel. Feel your shoulders drop, your chest collapse. Now take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Fill your belly first, not your chest. Imagine you're inflating a balloon in your stomach. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then let it all out again, even slower than the inhale. Make the exhale twice as long. That's 1 cycle. Do it twice. That's 10 seconds. Here's the neuroscience. When you exhale slowly, you stimulate your vagus nerve, the same nerve that controls your rest and digest mode. This nerve is like the brake pedal for stress. A long exhale tells your brain, hey, we're safe, no threats here. And when your brain feels safe, dopamine pathways open back up. You stop clenching. You stop scanning for danger. You feel calm but alert. Not drowsy, Not spaced out, just centered. Use this before any task that feels hard, before a conversation that makes you anxious. When you're stuck in your head overthinking the same loop for the 20th time. 2 exhales, 10 seconds. Your nervous system shifts from panic to peace, and in that peace, dopamine flows again. Reset number 8. The micro win. Here's something most people never figure out. Dopamine doesn't get released when you finish big goals. It gets released during progress, even tiny progress. Your brain doesn't care if you wrote a whole book or one sentence. It just cares that you move forward. And here's the trick. You can game the system intentionally. Right now, pick the smallest possible action you can complete in 10 seconds. Straighten one thing on your desk. Delete 3 emails. Stretch your arms overhead. Take 1 sip of water. Do 1 push-up. It doesn't matter what it is. Just make it so easy you can't fail. Now do it. Finish it completely. Check it off mentally. That tiny action just gave you a dopamine hit. Not a huge one, but enough to shift your state. And here's why this is powerful. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. That's backwards. Your brain needs to see progress first. Then it rewards you with the motivation to keep going. This is why starting is always the hardest part. You're trying to move from 0 to 1 with no fuel in the tank. But once you complete 1 micro win, your brain gives you a little dopamine. That dopamine makes the next action easier, then the next. You're not building motivation, you're building momentum. And momentum is just dopamine in motion. Use this when you're stuck, when procrastination has you pinned. When the task ahead feels too big and you don't know where to start. Don't try to do the whole thing, just do 1 tiny piece, 10 seconds, that's all. Fold 1 shirt, write 1 sentence, answer 1 message. Your brain will reward you for that, and that reward will carry you into the next action. This is the secret to getting unstuck. You don't need willpower, you need a win, any win. The smaller, the better. Reset number 7, the posture snap. Look at how you're sitting right now, shoulders rounded, head forward, chest caved in. You look like a question mark, and here's the thing. Your body language doesn't just reflect your mood, it creates it. When you slouch, your brain reads that signal and thinks, oh, we must be in low power mode. Better conserve energy. Shut down dopamine. Make everything feel harder. It's called embodied cognition. Your brain takes cues from your body to decide how you should feel. So if you want to feel better instantly, change your body first. Here's the 10-second reset. Sit up straight, not stiff or military, just aligned. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head toward the ceiling. Now take up more space. If you're sitting, spread your arms wider. If you're standing, widen your stance. Make yourself bigger. Hold this posture for 10 seconds. Breathe into it. What just happened? You told your brain, I'm in control here. High status, high energy, ready to act. Your brain responds by increasing dopamine and testosterone and lowering cortisol. This isn't motivation, it's activation. Within seconds, you'll notice your thoughts shift. You feel less defeated, more capable, like you could actually handle what's in front of you. This works even when you don't believe it will. Even if you feel like garbage, your body can override that signal. Posture is a biochemical lever. Use it especially when you're about to do something that scares you. Before you send that message, before you start that task, before you walk into that room, snap into power posture for 10 seconds. Your brain will meet you there. Reset number 6. The gratitude interrupt. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Gratitude? Really? That's the advice? But hear me out. I'm not asking you to journal or write affirmations or pretend everything is perfect. This is a neurological interrupt. Your brain has a negativity bias. It scans for threats, problems, and what's wrong. That's how we survived as a species. But in modern life, that same bias keeps you stuck in doom loops. Scrolling bad news, replaying awkward moments, worrying about things that haven't happened. And when your brain is locked in that loop, dopamine shuts down. Gratitude is the circuit breaker. Here's the 10-second version. Right now, think of one thing that didn't go wrong today. Not something amazing, just something neutral or slightly good. You woke up, you have clean water. You're not in physical pain right now. The sun came up, you have a place to sleep tonight. Pick one. Say it in your head. I'm grateful for blank. That's it. 10 seconds. Here's the neuroscience. Gratitude activates your brain's reward pathways, the same ones that dopamine runs through. When you intentionally notice something good, even something small, your brain releases a little dopamine and serotonin. You're manually overriding the negativity scan. You're telling your brain, hey, not everything is a disaster. Look, here's proof. And your brain listens. This doesn't fix your problems. It doesn't make hard things easy. But it does shift your emotional state just enough to get unstuck. Use this when you're spiraling, when everything feels heavy and pointless. When you're stuck in resentment or comparison or self-pity. One thing, 10 seconds. You're not faking positivity, you're redirecting attention. And attention is the steering wheel for dopamine. Reset number 5. The movement burst. Your body was built to move, not to sit in a chair for 12 hours staring at glowing rectangles. But that's what most of us do. And here's the problem. When you don't move, your brain thinks you're conserving energy for survival, like you're sick or injured. So it downregulates dopamine. It makes everything feel harder. Kills your motivation. You're not lazy, you're sedentary. And sedentary kills drive. Here's the 10-second fix. Move explosively. Not a gentle stretch, not a slow walk. Explosive. Jump up and down 5 times. Do 10 jumping jacks. Sprint in place for 10 seconds. Shake out your entire body like you're trying to get bugs off you. Punch the air, dance like an idiot. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Just move fast and hard for 10 seconds. Here's what happens. Explosive movement floods your brain with oxygen. It spikes your heart rate. It activates your sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for energy and alertness. And it triggers a dopamine release. Your brain goes, oh, we're moving? We must have energy. Better release the motivation chemicals so we can keep going. You're tricking your biology. You're acting as if you already have energy. And your brain gives you energy to match the action. This is instant. Within 10 seconds of moving, you'll feel a shift. Not huge. Not life-changing. Just enough to break the inertia. Use this when you're stuck in your head. When you've been sitting too long and your brain feels like mud. When you need to shift states fast. 10 seconds of explosive movement. Your body wakes up. Your brain follows. Reset number 4. The box breath lock. If you've ever spiraled into anxiety or brain fog, you know that feeling. Your thoughts are racing. Your chest is tight. You can't focus on anything. That's because your breathing pattern is chaotic. When you're stressed, you breathe fast and shallow from your chest. This triggers more stress. It's a loop. Here's how you break it in 10 seconds. Box breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold empty for 4 seconds. That's one cycle. 10 seconds total if you skip the last hold. But if you can, do the full box. 16 seconds. Even better. Here's the science. Box breathing forces your brain into a rhythm. Rhythm equals regulation. When your breath has structure, your nervous system calms down. Your heart rate variability increases, which is a sign of resilience and balance. And your prefrontal cortex, the part that thinks clearly and makes decisions, comes back online. You stop reacting. You start responding. Dopamine flows better in a calm nervous system. Chaos blocks it. Rhythm opens it. Use this before you need to focus. Before a hard conversation, when your brain won't stop spinning. 4 in. Hold 4. 4 out. Hold 4. Box breath. 10 seconds to shift from chaos to calm. Reset number 3. The eye movement reset. Okay, this is the one I told you not to miss. This is the biological cheat code. And it sounds so simple you'll think it's fake. But the neuroscience is rock solid. Here it is. Move your eyes side to side rapidly for 10 seconds. Not your head, just your eyes. Look left, look right. Fast, like you're watching a ping pong match on fast forward. Do this for 10 full seconds. I know it sounds insane, but stay with me. Here's what's happening. When you move your eyes side to side rapidly, you activate both hemispheres of your brain. Left eye movement stimulates the right brain. Right eye movement stimulates the left brain. This bilateral stimulation has a calming, integrating effect on your nervous system. It's the same mechanism used in EMDR therapy for trauma. Rapid eye movement helps your brain process stuck emotions and re-regulate itself. But here's the kicker. It also reduces activity in your amygdala, the fear center of your brain. When your amygdala is overactive, you're stuck in threat mode. Everything feels hard, dangerous, overwhelming. Dopamine can't flow properly because your brain thinks you're fighting for survival. 10 seconds of rapid eye movement and your amygdala calms down. Your brain shifts from fight or flight into rest and process. You feel less anxious, more present, more capable. This is the reset for when your brain won't stop, when you're stuck in a worry loop, when the mental noise is so loud you can't think straight. Don't try to think your way out. Move your eyes, 10 seconds, side to side, fast. Your brain will reset itself. This is the most underrated tool in this entire video. Use it. Reset number 2, the external focus shift. Here's a mistake almost everyone makes when they're feeling low or stuck. They turn inward, they analyze, they try to think their way into feeling better. But here's the truth. Your brain can't fully panic and fully observe at the same time. When you're stuck in your head, the fastest way out is to force your focus outward, not randomly, specifically. Here's the 10-second reset. Pick one object in your environment. Anything. A pen, a crack in the wall, a leaf, a doorknob, a coffee stain. Now study it like you're an alien seeing it for the first time. What color is it exactly? Is it shiny or matte? What texture would it have if you touched it? How does light hit it? What's its purpose? Why is it there? Who put it there? What would it feel like? Heavy or light? Warm or cold? Spend 10 seconds asking these questions silently while staring at the object. Here's the neuroscience. When you force your brain to observe something external in detail, you activate your prefrontal cortex and deactivate your default mode network. Your default mode network is the part of your brain that ruminates, worries, and spirals. It's the monkey mind, the storyteller, the part that replays embarrassing moments at 3 in the morning. When you engage your observational mind, you pull energy away from the spiral. You're not saying don't think. You're saying think about this instead. And your brain listens. Within 10 seconds, the intensity of your emotional state drops. You feel more grounded, more here, less trapped in your head. Use this in social situations when you're anxious, during hard conversations when you're overwhelmed, when you're stuck in rumination and can't get out. Pick an object, study it, 10 seconds, you're back in the room. Reset number 1, the double dopamine stack. All right, this is the final reset, the most powerful one. And it works because it combines 2 dopamine triggers at once. Here's how it works. Do something effortful for 10 seconds while imagining the reward. Not the outcome, the feeling. Let me explain. Dopamine gets released in 2 phases, anticipation and reward. Most people focus on the reward phase, finishing the task, getting the result. But the anticipation phase is actually stronger. When you vividly imagine getting the reward while you're working toward it, you get a dopamine hit before you even finish. You're essentially doubling your dopamine. Here's the 10-second version. Right now, pick one hard action. Starting that email. Doing 5 push-ups. Making that call. Cleaning one thing. Now, before you do it, close your eyes for 2 seconds and imagine how good it will feel when it's done. Not what it looks like. How it feels, the relief, the satisfaction, the pride. Feel that in your body. Now, open your eyes and do the action for 10 seconds while holding that feeling. You're doing the work and feeling the reward at the same time. This is the dopamine stack. Effort plus anticipation. Your brain releases dopamine during the imagination phase and again during the action phase. You're getting double the neurochemical reward. And here's why this is the most powerful reset on this list. It trains your brain to associate hard things with good feelings. Normally, your brain resists hard tasks because it only sees the effort. No reward in sight. But when you stack the anticipation on top of the effort, your brain starts to rewire. It learns that hard things feel good. Not just when they're done, during. This is how you build intrinsic motivation, the kind that doesn't need external rewards or pressure. You start doing things because they feel good to do. Use this for anything that feels hard, anything you've been avoiding. Imagine the feeling of it being done. Then do it while holding that feeling. 10 seconds. You're rewiring your dopamine pathways in real time. So let's recap. You just learned 10 instant dopamine resets. Cold face shock, tension release breath, micro win, posture snap, gratitude interrupt, movement burst, box breath lock, eye movement reset, external focus shift, double dopamine stack. Every single one of these works in 10 seconds or less. You don't need apps, you don't need programs, you don't need to fix your whole life. You just need to know where the switches are, and now you do. Your dopamine system isn't broken. It's just hijacked by a world that wasn't built for human brains. But you can take it back, one 10-second reset at a time. The next time you feel flat, stuck, numb, or stuck in the scroll, you know exactly what to do. Pick one reset. Use it. Feel the shift. Then pick another. You're not waiting for motivation anymore. You're creating it. And that changes everything. Here's the truth most people never learn. Happiness isn't something you find. Motivation isn't something you wait for. They're both things you activate. And activation takes 10 seconds. You just learned how. Now the only question is, will you actually use it? Or will you close this video, scroll for another hour, and wonder why nothing ever changes? The resets are in your hands now. What you do with them is up to you.